Hey, what's up? It's Case. Another day, another video. I feel like I'm on a roll. I love these daily videos, man. I do. In yesterday's video, I had this comment from Aslam, and it says, if you're looking for something to talk about in your videos, maybe you can tell us how you first got started with reconnective healing. What was the one incident or situation that got you started? Love from Turkey. Perfect. You know, I think I've talked about this a few times, but it's been a while, and I think I'll talk about like how I became a mentor and teaching assistant for the Reconnection. I'm no longer a mentor for those guys. I love those guys. That's my family. In fact, anybody that can feel these frequencies like right off the bat, dude, we're family. It's like, that's why we're here. We came to anchor this light onto the planet. So I guess I was a seeker. I was always, I don't want to say always, but I think when I was like 25, my grandma gave me this book on Edgar Cayce. And it was the first time I'd ever heard anything about, the Akashic field and just the field in general and how we're all connected. And right when I read that, I just knew that this was true, and that this is something I need to lean into. And at the time I was a golf professional, so I didn't really spend too much time like searching, but it was kind of like a hobby, And then many years later, it's like in 2007. I got another dose of the power that we have in creating our life and the power with our thoughts. And so that's when I really started digging in deeper. That's when I really probably started spending, several hours a day researching and reading and just trying to understand who we are and what we're doing down here. And so I guess with the healing part, I never considered myself a healer. There was actually nothing in me that was really oh, I want to be a healer. I want to get into Reiki, or I want to I didn't even believe in that, which is kind of weird because I was believing in this field. I was believing we're made of energy, but it just really wasn't one of my highest excitements. So I never really, I don't know. I just never thought about being a healer. I never saw myself as a healer. And then it started with, I was watching this video. It was 2011. I remember it was November 10th or 11th. It was right around there. And I'm watching this video called The Divine Matrix. And I was so excited after watching that. It was a great Braden presentation on his book. And when I got done, YouTube was like, hey man, you like that, you're going to like this. And it was The Living Matrix, the science of healing. And in the first 6 minutes, there was this dude, Eric Pearl, and he's floating his hands over these people and they're having healings. And I just had this feeling I need to read this guy's book. I just knew. So immediately I ordered his book. I got the book. Started reading the book, got about 20 pages in the book. I put it down, I held up my hands, and my hands felt like magnets. And I was like, oh my God, I can feel it. And it was really subtle though. It wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't anything like it is now. In fact, if I would have felt it back then, like I feel it now, it would have been too much. I would have probably got scared. I would have ran to the hospital and said, hey man, something's wrong with me. I'm losing circulation in my body, or so I'm glad that it started kind of subtle and then worked its way up. But as soon as I felt those frequencies, that was the proof that I had always been looking for, that we are made of energy, and that I was going to say that we're all connected, but I didn't really know that until another month or two later. So every day I just started playing with these frequencies. I worked at home, so I didn't have to worry about anybody saying, what are you doing? I didn't have to worry about anybody's opinion. Yeah, I just didn't have to worry about anything. I could just do whatever I wanted. So I started playing with these frequencies, and they got stronger and stronger every day. And then after about a month, I started telling my friends, I was like, hey man, why don't you lay down? Let me do this. And ironically enough, the universe had made it so all of my friends had profound experiences. And so that allowed me to own it, more and more. And then one day, I obviously finished the book. And then one day I was like, I want to work on somebody that's sick. I don't know anybody that's sick. Like nobody was sick that I hung out with. And my buddy told me about his dad, and his dad had cancer, and it was going into his bones, and it was like they were at the last stages. And so I said, man, do you think he would let me do this? Would he let me give him a session? And so his dad was in Canada, and I was in Colorado. And so, because I'd met him, he's like, oh yeah, I'll do it, So he laid down at a certain time. I go in my bedroom and I started the session. And it's funny. I'm not going to talk about what happened during that session, because something very, very profound happened to me during that session. I will just say, maybe I'll say that for another video, but I will say that after that session, and my friend got back with me and told me his dad's experience, and he could see that his dad was changed by what had happened, I knew that I needed to do this for a living. So I found out where, how to get trained. I signed up for level 1, 2, and 3. Back then you could do everything in 5 days. It wasn't dragged out. It was like you could be there for the whole thing. So I remember the day I showed up and in California, and I went and I sat in that room, and I could feel those frequencies. They were just stronger. Like I could feel something in me. And I started seeing the teaching assistants walk around, and I was meeting them and talking to them. And by the end of that first day, I knew this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be a mentor. I'm supposed to be a teaching assistant for these guys. And I remember that I learned how to do the reconnection on my my 4th and 5th day. And so I had told my friends who I was staying with, my best friend and his wife, I was like, I'll reconnect you guys after I learn how to do it, and then the next day before I fly back to Colorado. And they're like, okay. So I remember I was getting trained to do the reconnection, and I was so into it, and I was so serious, and I went around and I was telling the teaching assistants, I was like, hey man, watch me. Make sure I am doing this exactly right, because I'm going to reconnect my best friend and his wife tonight when I get home. And the person that was leading the teaching, how to reconnect people, she found out that what I was going to do. And she said in front of everybody, she says, no, you are not going to reconnect anybody tonight. You are not ready to reconnect somebody. And as I'm watching her, and everybody in the whole place is looking at me, in my mind I'm going, yes, I am. I'm going to reconnect my best friend and his wife. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. And I remember when I got home, you're always making diagrams, and you want to make sure, all the steps. There's tons of steps. There's tons of energy points, and there's a bunch of stuff to do. But I obviously hadn't memorized that, and I had never done it before. So what I did was I took all my drawings and I pinned them to the wall. And I took furniture and I made this fake, terribly uncomfortable massage table or this platform to do these sessions on. And I remember that, because when I do reconnection now, it takes 30 minutes, 33 minutes. And I remember when I did it, I was looking at the diagrams, I was making sure, and it took me an hour and a half. And it's kind of funny because later I was at another training seminar with with reconnection. And I was talking to Patrice, who's the one that taught me how to do the reconnection. And I told her that story. And she said, you didn't reconnect him, did you? And I go, oh yeah, I did. And she goes, you didn't charge him, did you? And I go, of course I charged him. And she was like, wow, man, you got some balls on you. So I asked her opinion. She says, why don't you just go ahead and, for tons of reasons, why don't you just go ahead and just reconnect them the next time you see him? So I actually did do that. And I didn't charge him, the second time. But it was this, I don't know. I'm just glad that I did it the second time in the mastery that I had, because now it kind of looks, it's very artistic and it's kind of beautiful. And when I first did it, it was not artistic and it was not beautiful. It was very, it just wasn't, it wasn't what it is now, but it worked. I mean, it absolutely worked. So that was 2 reconnections. And then I fly back and I go to Colorado, come back to Colorado. And I was able to get 4, I didn't force anybody, but my friends knew that I knew how to do this. So I did 4 more reconnections. So like in the first 5 months, I did 6 reconnections. And I remember it's like, man, I'm supposed to do this. Like, I'm going to do this. So I contacted the reconnection and I was like, hey man, what do you got to do to get in your mentor program? And I remember I was supposed to call Pat Atanis. I love Pat. I miss Pat. Pat is no longer with us, but she was quite the drill sergeant to be a mentor and with the reconnection. So anyway, I never forget that I called her and I was like, hey, I want to be a mentor for you guys. And she said, well, went through a couple questions. She's like, well, how many reconnections have you done? And I had only done 6. And I was like, 6. And she's like, you're not ready. You're not ready to be a mentor. I remember thinking like, I don't know, I didn't take it personally, but I just knew that like, man, this is what I'm going to do. So I don't know, however many reconnections I have to do to get into this mentor program, it'll happen, it'll work. And like amazingly, like I couldn't get any more reconnections. And it was like 3 months went by and I just like, nothing was like happening. And the reconnection was they were doing another training program in Denver. And so I was like, okay, well, if I can't be a mentor, I'm going to volunteer to be a part of, I just really wanted to go and sit in those rooms and to feel those frequencies, because there was no doubt that being in those rooms, something happened, and something happens to you when you're there. So one day, it was like one of the second day, and this lady comes up to me and she says, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you forever. And I was like, we've never met. And she's like, oh, no, we have. I know you. I've seen you. We've met. I go, no, actually, we haven't. And so then we had this, little conversation for a while. And then I just, walk away. And my really good friend, the person that actually reconnected me, Mary Beth Kennedy, she goes, I see that you're talking to Jillian. What were you talking to Jillian about? And I knew that Jillian was the CEO of the reconnection. I think she was just then becoming the CEO. So it was like 2013 or something like that. And I go, that's Jillian? And she said, yes. I stopped that conversation. I walked straight over to Jillian and I was like, hey, Jillian, my name's Case and I'm going to be a mentor for you guys. I'm going to be a teaching assistant for you guys and I'm going to be the best damn teaching assistant you've ever had. And she's just laughing and smiling. And, the next day I got a call from Pat and the lady in charge of the mentor program. And she said, hey, would you like to go to Ljubljana in Slovenia for a training session to become part of our mentor program? we'll make a spot open for you. So that's really how I became a mentor. Well, first of all, I was supposed to do this. Like and there was nothing that was going to stop me from doing that. There's nothing. And me and Pat actually had several conversations later, and I was saying, I remember you like laughing at me, and she goes, well, you don't think that I could possibly stop you from fulfilling, what you're here to do. And anyway, we were laughing. It was cool. But so, for me to become a mentor with Reconnection, it was really Jillian. I don't know. She just, so I'm really appreciative that she just kind of allowed me, even though I wasn't qualified with the number of reconnections and things like that. I guess she saw a little bit of potential in me, and she allowed me to get in the system. So that's how I did this, and it was really like, I was already on my path. I was already searching for my own truth, but it was really, it was Eric Pearl that reminded me of who I am and why I'm here. And I've had a couple interesting, in fact, I had one interesting thing that happened to me during that seminar in Denver. Well, one of the things that happened to me was, it was September 13th of 2013, and that was the day that everybody, for some reason, started calling me Chase instead of Case. My name's Case. But from that day on, it opened the floodgate, and everybody started calling me Chase, from everybody. Like, I didn't even know what happened. But anyway, I did have this one interesting thing happen with Eric in that seminar. But I don't know. I'll say that for another video. But I remember the exact moment that something shifted in me, and yeah. So I'm just really thankful that I discovered these guys, and they reminded me who I am, and I was able to travel with those guys for a couple years. And the only reason I'm not doing it now was because in 2015, we left the country, and there were so many people that were already TAs and mentors and I was really low on the totem pole. And so I didn't really get offered too many, training programs to go to, especially since I only speak one language, and a lot of them at the time were all around the world. So, I was in another country. So anyway, I just wasn't able to go to enough training programs to continue to be, a teaching assistant and a mentor. But all those guys are my family, and I'm sure one day I would love to go back and to see how the training program has progressed, because this is the type of thing where it's always progressing, it's always expanding. And I don't know, I'm sure I will go back and participate in one of the training programs. I guess not this year, but maybe next year. Okay, so I guess that's it. I could really just keep talking. I would like to tell more stories, even the stories that just happened right then at that training program. But I think I need to save some for other videos. But anyway, that was it, man. I was searching for the truth, and I was just following my excitement. And thank God YouTube's led me down this path. And yeah, so thank you, Jillian, thank you, Eric, and thank you, YouTube. So, okay, man, I just got done with the session, and I'm starting to do more Skype sessions, and I don't know, why wasn't I doing Skype sessions? Now, I don't do the session and look at a little screen or anything like that. I end up hanging up before, but I don't know, man, I'm really enjoying this, just seeing my clients. Because I think that, we're all connected, but But I think when we talk on the phone, there's like an extra layer of fine tuning of that connection. And then I think maybe with the videos, it's even better. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just digging the Skype sections. So okay, man. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, peace.
What's that? Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, 'cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you. This is going boom boom. If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over, we can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water crazy up in here, got that DJ playing music everybody wants to hear, yeah. It's getting kinda crazy up in here, everybody wants a ride in the water slide. 3, 4. Baby, if you're looking for some